Big Chuck and Little John.
So we're gonna talk about dogs.
Oh, whatever you want, man. It's your show. I'm just filming it.
Okay. Well, the one thing like I'm curious of is, so I have a 1.5-year-old black lab, and the guy that I adopted him from, luckily he did all the hard stuff, so the crate training, the potty training, housebreaking, he did all that stuff. But the one thing that like I did not do, but he has a natural drive for, is fetch. Obviously, like being a retriever, it's literally in the name. Every dog that I've ever had growing up, because I've had labs, I've had golden retrievers, and I couldn't get any of them to chase anything. And with this dog that I have now, it was almost like, I don't know, I just threw something one day and he just knew what to do. And the one thing, like I've been working with them is, I don't know if everybody else's dog does this, but they'll bring it back and they just are like, hey, I have it, but you can't have it. And they don't want to let it go.
That's what my dog does right now. I'm trying to work through it. And I mean, he's a great hunting dog. He's a pointing dog, a little different than yours. But he has a terrible time retrieving. And it's one of the things I'm trying to break him of this year is not trying to play keep away with me once he brings it back to me.
Yeah. Like my dog right now, it doesn't matter what you throw. He will go get it. And like he has his own stick collection. Like if you walk out in my side yard where I let him out, it literally looks like a wood chipper went through my yard because of how many sticks this dog just chews through. But no, like whether it's a tennis ball or whether it's a stick, I mean it could be anything. I've caught him outside playing by himself with a rock. He somehow found a rock and it's his favorite thing to play with. But I'm trying to figure out how I can actually, how do I say this, but like train him to do it in a way that I want him to, because he already has that natural drive. He always wants to play fetch, and I mean it does not matter how many times I throw something. It's like this dog never gets worn out. I think 2 times, I've had him for a little over a year now, and I think there's only 2 times that I can remember where I wore this dog out, and that was, I took him to the dog park for his birthday, and we were there for like 6 hours. And then he came home and he just slept. And then the other time, we went on, I don't know, maybe like an 8-mile hike. And I think the only reason that he was tired is because he drugged me. I was just like 200 pounds of dead weight to this dog.
Yeah.
And like, I'm trying to teach him, one, like I would love to teach him to go off leash. I would love to do that. Just because like it's... It sounds selfish, but it's kind of hard to enjoy a hike with my dog when I'm just getting drug along the entire time. And like, talking to my grandfather, because he used to like train dogs. He used to put them in shows and everything. And he had a bunch of awards for, obedience. And he's telling me like, oh, you got to, put a choker on him, pull back, tell him to heel, like don't let him drag you. And it's like, I don't come from like a background where like I know how to train a dog, and it's like I don't know how to get him to do what I want him to do. And it's with this dog, like with him having that natural drive to retrieve, I would love to take him out game like small game hunting with me, to one, like find squirrels, and like 2, like go and get the squirrel, but then also like give it to me when he actually brings it back, because he never wants to let anything go. It's a pain to actually get him to like, okay, let me have it. And he's like, nah. He's like, it's right here, but you can't have it. It's like, come on, dude. And he's like, I'm not gonna chase you for this. But yeah, like training dogs like is something that I have no experience in, and like I would love to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. A lot of it just is like positive reinforcement. You have to. I started with when my dog was a puppy, so I have no experience training a little bit older dog. But I'd imagine it's fairly similar. You just want to create that positive reinforcement of when he releases it, you want to give him a treat, or can create that positive reinforcement.
He's super food motivated.
Is there a better time to do that?
I mean, this is my first hunting dog, obviously, so I only have experience of one dog. But the experience I have is doing it. The younger you can do it, this is the better. I mean, I mean, I introduced gunfire super early. A lot of guys say to wait until they're a year old, which I think is crazy, to be honest, because you're missing out on a whole year of hunting. I was out in South Dakota when my dog was 8 months old, hunting pheasant and shooting guns over him. So it's a little bit different philosophy, I guess, with people that have multiple dogs, because they have that time to wait because they are hunting other dogs. But
I mean,
would you recommend having your new dog go out with a dog that's already trained and experienced?
Not necessarily. My dog really didn't hunt with another experienced dog all that much. I mean, he did every once in a while, but I just put him on a ton of birds, shot a ton of birds over him. I mean, they say birds make a bird dog. And that's one of the things, not necessarily that it can be a good thing to have a lot of birds, but it can also be a negative thing. I noticed a lot of things that are negative about it too. That I almost think the obedience side of my dog is a little lackluster because he's had so many bird contacts. He doesn't like the retrieving, for example. He is not the greatest retriever. He'll take a bird and run off with it. Like when we're up in Michigan, it drives me absolutely nuts. I can't tell you how many woodcock he's ran off with, and I had to chase down after him with this year. It drove me nuts. And he, one of them I didn't. The other 3 or 4 I did.
he just ate it.
Well, he didn't even eat it. He just ran off with it and dropped it, and then wasn't interested in it anymore because I yelled at him for it.
It's over there.
Right, basically. But I'm glad he didn't do it with a grouse, because a grouse, I've only shot 1 grouse in my life, and it took me 2 years to do it because I'm such a terrible shot, not because of opportunity. It's just, they're just a hard bird to shoot. And luckily he didn't do it with 1 grouse I shot. But
yeah, I've tried to do that, like with my dog, because like I shoot a lot of guns.
Yeah.
Like other than hunting, like I'm a big gun guy, so like,
Right.
I shoot a ton, and that's one thing where, like I part of me like felt bad because like when you take a dog out and like you're hunting with them, like I'm sitting here wearing hearing protection, and then I'm worried about the dog's ears.
And their ears are 10 times better than yours.
Exactly. So
they're-
like
theirs is amplified.
That's another thing that like I worry about, is because like I've tried to do this with my dog, where whenever I go outside and whenever I do like my training, I try to bring my dog out with me. Now, mind you, he's not sitting there running drills
Right.
with me, but he's in the yard, and like I have about 3 acres of land, so not a ton, but when he's outside with me and I'm shooting, like I will literally take a shot and then turn around and look at him, and he's like, I'm out. Like, I don't want any part of this.
Well, what you want to do for gun intro, honestly, is probably one of the easiest things. You just have to make sure you do it right. One of my buddies, he got a puppy this last year, and he did exactly what you did, and it screwed the dog up. I honestly don't think the dog will hunt, to be honest.
My dog's
Because, well, it takes a lot of, I'm sure you could probably get it as long as it's not too far gone, but you want the dog running after something, having some drive. Like, say you throw a bumper out there and then you shoot off the gun. And then you start creeping in closer and closer and closer until you're shooting right next to him. And then it'll be introduced to him, you know what I mean? And then another thing I did with my dog is every time he would eat, I would play fireworks over a Bluetooth speaker right next to him, and I'd slowly creep up the volume. I'd start on like 10, and then I'd slowly creep it up to 15, and then 20, and then by the time it was almost blaring my ears out, he wouldn't even care because it just slowly, incrementally grew over time.
That sounds awful. I definitely wouldn't want to eat with fireworks going off. But no, I mean that's a good point. It's like I said, with not knowing what to do,
Right.
like the biggest thing is like when I first like brought guns around him, like one, he was just scared of the gun itself,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't even like the shot. I think he just kind of like match the smell with the sound, where he just is like, nope. He's like, every time I smell that, there's loud noises and I don't like it. And I've had him for about a year now. And like now, like he's comfortable because, you know, I'll be cleaning guns or I'll lay guns down while I'm working on them, and he'll come around them now and it doesn't bother him. Just like the other day, I was shooting one of my 22s, and it was suppressed, but I mean you still hear like a little bit of sound. And he laid down right next to me, and I was like, okay, hey, this is a good sign. But then again, like, you know, if I'm shooting, you know, like an AR or like a high-powered rifle or something like that, then it's just he's like, nope.
That's also a lot different sound than, say, a shotgun. What you'd be normally using, say, with bird hunting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The AR sound crack is a lot sharper.
Yeah, it is.
Than a 20 gauge shotgun. You know what I mean?
It absolutely.
So
is.
it's a little different sound too. So he might be honestly all right still. You know what I mean?
It's just something that like I definitely want to try to work more with him.
Yep.
It's just like the one thing like I haven't tried is, and this sounds dumb to say, but like I haven't tried to introduce like the positive reinforcement with the shot.
Yeah.
I've just been like, hey, I'm going to go outside and you're going to come too, and I'm going to shoot guns, and you're just going to get used to this. But realistically, every single time that I go out to shoot, he has, like I have 3 acres, but I have him on a runner, so he probably has about an acre where he can roam. And I'll go to the back portion of my property and I'll shoot, and I'll take a shot and I'll turn around and watch him, and then you just see his head drop, his tail tucks, and he's just like, nope, I don't like that.
Right.
Sounds like there's a lack of association here.
Yeah, and you want to say, like, what I do is I get pigeons from, I don't know, some jank ass place up in Medina. It's kind of. It's really, honestly, it's a pretty trashy place. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you went there, you probably wouldn't.
Questions?
You don't ask too many questions when you go to that. Honestly, it's kind of like that. It really is. You don't want to go to this place at night. Let's just say that. But
shitty pigeons.
But we go up there and you pluck the feathers and let the dog chase after it, and then when they're in full chasing after the pigeon, then that's when you shoot the round off.
So that's something that I could try with him.
Yeah.
Even if I just like throw a stick or like one of his tennis
It doesn't even
balls.
have to be a pigeon, really.
Yeah, like I could probably do that with like one of my 22 pistols. Like as he's doing it, just like fire a round into the ground or something, just to get like a sound off.
Right.
That's something like I need to start trying with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like he just shows so much potential, and like there's times where, like at my house, like I have a big like bay window in the back of my house where I can oversee all of my property. So when I let him out, he's running around. Like I just kind of like watch him.